Hello, hello. After seeing so much talk about the Pensacola, I decided to sell my beloved Cleveland and get myself a Pensacola of my own. So I've played about 30 games on it so far, and I've got it fully upgraded, so I decided it was time to make a commentary on what I think about the ship and how I think it works, doesn't work, what's good, what's weak, and so forth. Now, first of all, when I try... Oh, wait a minute, there's planes coming. Oh, this New York is all alone. Is he reacting? No, he's not reacting. Shit, I need to turn. Need to help him with the planes. Pinging him so he understands to come to me, or at least turn away from the torpedo bombers. You should never ever give broadside to torpedo bombers, because that's the line they want. The best thing is to sail away from them. If you have AA, sail away, because they have to spend more time in your AA. I'm gonna try to save this guy. Hopefully I will activate my defensive AA ability just before the torpedo bombers get in range, and maybe I could be able to save him. Oh, looks like he aborted his torpedo run when he saw me activate it. It spreads it out even on the carrier's vision, like instead of having this narrow point of view for the torpedoes, you get this huge wide fan-like spread. So he probably saw that and he decided to abort his torpedo run on the New York. Which was good, because I managed to save him from basically receiving a ton of damage. He only took bomber damage now. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna harass these planes a bit. Anyway, about the Pensacola. When people were like complaining about how weak it was, I was expecting something like the US destroyer line, like the Farragut or the Mayhem, you know, these really, really terrible ships that you really have to struggle with to get XP, that are really a pain to get XP with. That's what I was expecting. But what I got was really just a below average cruiser. That's kinda the Pensacola. Honestly, like, it has a major weakness, which is everything to do with its citadel, but it's not unplayable by any means, and I feel people have been fear-mongering the ship a bit too much, like scaring off upcoming cruiser players from it completely, because they'll think it's some sort of devil ship that will be impossible to get anything done on, but that's just false. The Pensacola has some strengths as well. It's not simply weaknesses, like the firing angles are awesome. The AA is insane, especially for the tire. As you have seen here, how quickly these planes just die if they're like within 5-6 kilometers. Especially as I have the captain perk that increases my range, and upgrade that increases it. So I'm like a no-fly zone this entire area around me. And the accuracy on this ship is actually really, really good. The spread is very, very small on this cannon, so I've actually been able to do a lot of sniping and get a surprising amount of damage done, even though the DPM on the ship is of course very low. But overall, the ship isn't as bad as I expected. The Citadel problem I knew about, and it's an obvious problem. It's a very punishing ship, like whereas on the Cleveland, let's say you miss a volley, well, you'll have to wait for a 7-8 second reload, something like that. Basically, by the time the shots land, you're already reloaded, so you can shoot again. And you got 12 cannons, so you probably end up hitting some shots anyways. Whereas on this guy, if you shoot, you have to wait for the full 15-second reload before you can shoot again. If you show your broadside on the Cleveland, you might lose a quarter of HP if you get unlucky, maybe. On this guy, if you show broadside, you might get sunk instantly. Double citadels has happened to me already, like from 18 kilometers away, just because I showed broadside. Single citadels happen very easily, just giving a hint of broadside and I instantly get citadeled. It's a very, very punishing ship. Oh, are those torpedo bombers coming for me? Nah, it looks fine. They disappeared. Anyway, it's a very punishing ship, as opposed to the Cleveland, which is a very forgiving ship. And I feel like this is what makes people hate it so much, that because basically they go from St. Louis, an awesome ship, or a really good ship, to the Phoenix, which is a decently good ship, to the Omaha, which is a fantastic ship, to, oh shit, the planes are coming, this Colorado needs to wake up, he needs to start turning now. Shit, he's reacting too slowly. I don't think I'll be in range for these planes. I'm gonna try it. This is what you should do. Shit. Yeah, the Colorado really shouldn't be leaving my safe zone, so to say. I activated now, but he got the torpedoes off before he got shot by my AA. Yeah, he got that's the tight spread. That's what it looks like. Like, does a ton of damage when they land it correctly with manual drop. This Colorado really shouldn't be leaving my AA zone. That's foolish. Anyways, what I was saying, the Omaha was an awesome ship. And then you get the Cleveland, which was basically God tier ship that you could 1v1 anyone with and just shit on everything. So you go from that and then you go to this ship, which is basically a below average ship. It's a below average cruiser. It's not a good cruiser by any means, but I think it's a pretty jarring change of gameplay. There's a lot of changes going on. It's the first time you have to use 203mm cannons, and it's also the first time you're experiencing really punishing gameplay in this game. And the ship itself, paper thin armor all over. Like, there's very few duels you can actually take, or actually, the only thing you can really fight confidently is destroyers, because of your accuracy and your moderately low reload. You're really good at hunting them down. But so are pretty much every other cruiser in the game. But when it comes to 1v1s, you rarely want to take them against someone good. Against bad people who spam HE at you and you get to sit at them for free, sure, but you don't really want to fight good people. You see, by the way, how I'm angling my ship. I angled my ship away when I saw him popping out, and I'm angling my ship towards him to minimize the amount of broadside I show. This is very important, and one of the lessons this ship shows is that you always want to limit the amount of broadside you show, because the Pensacola doesn't forgive you if you don't do it. Like, oh shit, I'm showing too much broadside. Fuck my life. I'm showing a lot. I'm trying to turn back. I'm turning back full speed. Okay. Speak of the devil. That one sequence basically summed up my Pensacola. For 1 second I overturned. I overturned just a bit and I showed my full broadside to New York, which is a 2 tires lower battleship. And that's all I needed to do, and he instantly citadeled me. The game instantly punished me for slacking off on the Pensacola. The Pensacola, in my opinion, is not a ship that you can like watch a stream on the other screen or enjoy a cup of coffee while you play it, like for example the Cleveland, where you can relax moderately well. The Pensacola requires your full attention at all times, because this ship does not forgive you at all. You make one small mistake and you get instantly punished. And that's a pretty harsh lesson. But it's a pretty important lesson, because if you think cruiser's life is going to get a lot easier later on, then it really doesn't. Like, of course, the ships you get after this is a lot better armor and citadel-wise, but the punishing lesson it learns is actually quite important. Like, the ship really hammers in the fact that you never ever want to give your full broadside to a battleship or a cruiser with big cannons. Anyways, how should you play the Pensacola then? Well, you see what I'm doing basically. I'm hanging out with my battleships a lot. The only time I'm engaging someone like this is when there's no one on my side who can shoot my broadside, and when I am fighting him, I'm angling my ship a lot to minimize my broadside, to make sure that he cannot shoot me, or well, when he shoots me he will not citadel me, hopefully. That's the plan. The ship is really good at hunting down, of course, battleships like all cruisers, because I'm faster. But in general, you want to be a team player with this ship. This is what I think the Pensacola teaches you. You want team play, and you don't want to be the first guy in. Because if you're already a big target because of your citadel, your ship floats very high in the water, so you're already a big target. If you go in first into a battle, then you're gonna be twice as big. Because even people who don't understand how big your citadel is will be shooting you, and that's just stupid. Let the battleships take the heat. Let them tank the damage, while you deal the damage. Now, as for consumables, as you've seen me use twice already to try to save some battleships here, I've obviously replaced hydroacoustic search, which is garbage, with defensive AA fire, which is a fantastic ability. That what it does is when you activate it, any planes that you shoot that are basically within your area, they get reduced accuracy on all their abilities. Their bombs get spread out on a massive area, their torpedoes get fanned out wide, so instead of like hitting 4 or 5 torps, they'll maybe hit 1 or 2. So it's a really fantastic ability both for yourself and your team, especially on the Pensacola, which has already good AA, but with mods to increase the range on it, you get really good AA. Then of course I have the default catapult fighter, once again to help against carriers, and I have the improved repair that costs 22.5k, but it reduces the cooldown on the repair from 90 seconds to 60 seconds. I think it's such a significant difference that it's well worth the investment. Those are basically the base consumables. Oh, nice. He died. That took a bit longer than I wanted it to, but oh, detected. It's a really good to have the trait that you're detected even on the Pensacola, because this tells me there's... oh, there is. Minikaza. Oh, what is he doing? He's going for some sort of suicide. Now you can see the accuracy, I think. Yep, that's his engine gone. I'm slowing down. You see that this guy can't really torpedo me from any good angle. Like, he can't torpedo in front of me because there's rocks there, so I don't fear slowing down at all. I even put my engine to full stop because I knew there was nowhere he could torpedo me. Oh, there was a Hatsuharu here in front of me. I'm turning away from him, of course. Oh, there is. You see I'm slowing down again? Same principle here. He wants to shoot torpedoes, but he has no idea where to shoot them because there's rock formation in front of me. So his prediction will show straight into the rock. So he literally cannot shoot torpedoes at me at this point. And he's really fucked now. Yeah, he went straight for me, but now I can just easily speed up and avoid them, like no worries whatsoever. And because of slowing down, I'm gonna kill him probably. Yep, that's two DDs who basically got outplayed because I used the terrain against them. Oh, Atlanta. You saw I switched to AP instantly. I have no idea what people think that ship is OP. It's a paper ship. Like, I think it's one of the shittiest. Like, I have a hard time deciding who's better, the Atlanta or the Pensacola, because I think the Atlanta is too limited by its range, and it's such a paper ship that if anyone who knows how to play uses AP against it, they just shit all over the Atlanta. Anyways, what else was I going to say? Oh, of course the consumables, yeah, the repair, very much worth it. I use it on almost all my ships except the destroyer. I think you should use it as well. It's a 22k investment to have a much more enjoyable game, especially on battleships who tend to get HE spammed a lot. Because, well, you can repair fire, flooding, whatever. This Atlanta is being very brave actually. Yes, let's see if I can get some hits on it. I don't know, he turned away a bit. Yeah, not really. I'd permanently destroy the cannon though. That's another of the reasons why I don't think the Atlanta is a very good ship. Because if he ends up having to exchange fire with someone, his cannons have something like 30, I think it's 32mm armor. So everything in this game pretty much destroys them. So basically you'll be shedding cannons like a dog sheds fur if you fight with the Atlanta. Nice, there we go. The Citadel hit I was talking about. Citadel hit and broke his engine. You see how badly I'm shitting on him? And I've only shot 2 volleys at him. Look at the minimap. You see he's turning towards me. I'm instantly gonna turn away. If a ship like that starts turning towards you, if a Japanese cruiser or someone like that starts turning towards you, that means they want to torpedo you. At this point I'm no longer detected, so he thinks I'm still sailing straight towards him. But because I know I'm not detected, I will actually be, instead of him ambushing me with torpedoes, I will be able to ambush him. He's gonna pop out from behind that corner like any second. 3, 2, 1. There it is. And I was completely outplayed, because he thought he was going to torpedo me, but I completely outplayed him, because I knew exactly what he was going to do. So instead of him getting torpedoes on me, he just tries to get some panic shots, and I don't know what he can do anymore, he's fucking dead. My autocannons, or the secondary turrets on my ship, even set him on fire. Yeah, that's the Atlanta then. The so-called supposed OP cruiser. And killed by the so-called supposed super underpowered Pensacola. Oh shit, I have 5 kills. Goddamn. Wonder if you can win this. Actually 3 minutes 50 left, and carrier that's apparently sailing away. Anyway, a lot of people have been talking about skipping this Pensacola entirely, and like using free XP or something, and I don't think it's worth it. Like, first of all, it's not impossible at all to farm XP on this ship. Like, it can be very frustrating at times, and it can be very punishing because you suddenly get a citadel from somewhere like 20 kilometers away from some battleship you didn't even see. It's annoying, it's frustrating, but it also teaches you a lot about how to angle your ship and how to be very careful with what sides you present to your ship. And this is a lesson that you will actually want to take onwards to your next ships. Like, even if your next ship, I think, what's the New Orleans, I think, is the next ship, even though it has a much smaller citadel and much better armor, even it will get citadeled if you show a broadside. And I think this Pensacola is kind of like some sort of super training for angling your ship, because it really hammers in the lesson for US cruiser players that they cannot play as recklessly as they did with the Cleveland. They have to play more carefully, because if they skip this and go straight from the Cleveland to the New Orleans, I can fucking tell you that they will get shut on so hard in T8. They will call every single battleship in the game OP, because they will not have learned the Pensacola lesson, which tells you exactly what happens when you show broadside to a battleship. The cruisers have such good angles that they can usually angle their ship really well and avoid most of the damage being shot at them by battleships. But for that reason, I think that's one of the reasons I think that you should definitely not skip the Pensacola. The second reason is, of course, it teaches you about a lot about the future cruiser play, like team play, using your AA to support your teammates, because you can't just run off solo hero. Like, Atagos do it a lot in higher tower, but they just die. You want to be with your battleships, let them tank some damage, deal some damage, you're there helping them. Basically, there's a really good synergy between battleships and the cruisers, and this ship kind of forces you to get used to it, because you cannot run off solo, because the ship is too weak to really win against anything solo. And what else? Oh, of course, it teaches you to get used to the 203mm cannons. The cannons you have on this ship, the 203mm, that's the same caliber you'll be having all the way to the Tier 10. You'll have it on the New Orleans, you'll have it on the Baltimore, you'll have it on the Des Moines. So once again, once you're going to skip this, then you'll have to adapt to the Baltimore again, which will also be a pain. So just don't skip it. Oh, nice, our Farragut, by the way, just ran into the Ranger. I think we're going to win this game. If his, yay. Nice. Actually got a win out of this blog or commentary. Yeah, the XP is pretty good. I got 100 hits. Pretty amusing to see a Farragut and a Pensacola at the top. Damage is, I think, what, 85k, something like that. But it's not really important. You will rarely get these really massive damage things. It will be more about how you played for your team.